All right, good afternoon. It's after noon for me. I'm just going to cover what we discussed in class a little bit and talk a little bit more about that tomorrow as well. I don't know why this keep moving further forward in my class. I feel cramped up at the front. But one of the big things we discussed in class here was with this example, and we talked a lot about just the notes that we took relative to this. It says find the value of x and the missing angles, and then find the measure of angle B. Well, if you look at this diagram, in your notes it looked a bit more like this. And we said angle 1, angle 2, angle 3, and angle 4. And if you go back and review, we talked a lot about just the different aspects of this diagram here. The conclusion that we stated was that this exterior angle here was equal to the sum of the two remote interior angles here. And that's the same process that we talk about over here. We also said that these right here form a linear pair, which they do. So we're going to apply that knowledge to this particular problem. And when we do, the problem itself doesn't become that complicated. All right, so it says find the value of x. Well, how am I going to find the value of x? I'm going to find the value of x by identifying that these expressions are angles. So 2x minus 18 plus 3x minus 12 plus 40 is equal to 180. There's my sum. I go ahead and combine my like terms. 5x, I've used 5x and 3x, minus 18 minus 12 plus 40. Gee, what is that? That should be 10. If you're not sure, double check. Do some doodles over here and make sure you figure that out. Equals 180. Next, I'm going to subtract 10. 5x is equal to 170. If you're following along, divide by 7. Not 7. Divide by 5 into 170. And you might be sitting there going, gee, 5 won't go into 170. Well, if you're not sure, again, doodles off to the side, and you will find out that it goes in 34 times. So x is 34. Now I found the value of x. X is not, 34 is not the measure of an angle. It's only the value of the variable. Then it says find the measure of the missing angle. Well, I could do this one of two ways. You could say that 2x minus 18 plus 3x minus 12 is equal to b. You could say that. That is true. That is absolutely true. The problem is I don't know what angle b is. I don't know what either of these measures are. If I knew that, I could add those two together and find b. So that would be 2 times 34 minus 18 would give me the measure of that angle, or 3 times 34 minus 12 would also give me the measure. I could find both of these, add them together, and I got b. I could do that. But what do you notice about these two angles? This was angle 3 inside, this was angle 4. They are a linear pair. So what I notice is that angle b plus 40 is equal to 180. And I can subtract 40, and angle B is equal to 140 degrees. That is an exterior angle. The sum of these two is equal to 140. I don't know what either of these are. It's not even asking me that, but that's what the sum of those two is. All right? Now down here we talked about identifying angles. All right? And we talked a little bit about in class, corresponding. Name each of the angles to describe where you would find them. Okay? So corresponding angles, alternate interior. You have to study these. You have to know what these are. A set of corresponding angles is one angle that is on the exterior and one angle that is on the interior. Down here below my parallel line, that is also exterior. It's one angle outside, one angle inside, on the same side of a transversal. So angle 1 and angle 5 are an example of corresponding angles. Give me 2 examples for each of these. That was what you needed to do. And then we move over to the next lesson. This is in addition to tomorrow. Instead of making a separate video tomorrow, I'm just adding it on to today. I probably should make a separate one, but I'm going to give you 12, how to do 12, and then we'll talk about, actually I'm not even going to talk about these, because these, you should know that, that's all review. So here we go. Here's how to do number 12. Find the value of x and the measure of the missing angle in each diagram. Well, what is x? Is x an interior angle or is x an exterior? And what is x in relationship to the other two? X is an exterior angle. It is not adjacent to the other two that they give me. So if I'm going to apply what I learned back up in the other page, sorry, I got to go back here. If I'm going to apply what I learned about here, about these two angles being the same, or go back and look at your notes, right? I'm going to say that X, or that exterior angle, is equal to the sum of the remote interior, which is 23 plus 85. Boom, I find it. Now what happens if they give me a question in 13? I probably should have done 13, that's a little bit better. 135, and this diagram's nice because it's like the other one in our book. This is the exterior angle. 135 is equal to the sum of these two, X plus 87. And you just go ahead and subtract, and it tells you what the missing angle is. And you can go ahead and do those two. See, it gets a little bit more difficult with the expressions, just like what we did, but you did a practice problem around there. So you have those to do. And then it says indicate whether each pair of angles would be congruent or supplementary. All right, so 5 and 8, you're going to have to determine if they're congruent, which means equal, or supplementary. So it's asking you to find that out, angles 5 and 8. Pay attention to that. Ask questions if you need to. Happy Friday.